Hey y'all, I'm back with a smile, with a half smile. Anyway, this is Wonderfully Me, and I want to thank you for showing up for me like I try to show up for y'all. That's right, I'm trying to break my streak of not keeping my word. How about that? Yes. To everybody who is new here, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. You are so very welcome here. And for everybody who's been here before, you know my sense of humor already, so it's not really a shock, okay? But I love you, fam. You're the bestest. Any who's and any hows. Let me get down to business. I think I mentioned in the previous video that one of the places I know I did a video, but I did one of the places that I enjoy going to, and I was saying that it's really family friendly and for people who hadn't been there was Vegas. And I was just talking to my sister, and she was mentioning that she was going to do a solo trip to Vegas. So good on you. I actually have done a solo trip to Vegas. It didn't start out as a solo trip, but it ended up being a solo trip. But I had an absolute blast. I had an absolute blast. But anywho, she's doing that, so I want to say shout out to her because solo travel is really challenging for a lot of people. You know, not me because I've been doing it for such a long time, but it takes a minute for a lot of people to get out of their comfort zone, and we all know that no growth happens in your comfort zone. And if you're comfortable, you ain't growing. Okay. So just wanted to give her a big shout out because yeah, it's if you're not used to it, or you feel like you gotta be with somebody, it's tough. So, shout out to her. But anyway, along the lines of me talking about places that is cool to go or whatever by yourself or with others um, inside the country. I wanted to mention two places. I'm not going to dwell on them too much, but I wanted to mention Chicago. I think that now I'm not suggesting anybody go in the wintertime because it is brick in Chicago in the wintertime. I was there for a conference one year, and let me tell you, and it was wintertime, and it was so better the times that I went when the weather was nice, like spring, summer. Okay, I'm just saying. But Chicago is another one of those cities that has like a great food scene, some good nightlife. I'm not really that much into that, but I have been down to that strip area where they have like all these bars and stuff. But there's lots of touristic places to visit. Most people like to go visit the Bean. Of course, I did that too, but it was so cold. That's all I can say. Shout out to my girl Rhea. I was there. We were there together for this conference. But yeah, Chicago it has a lot to offer. Whether you're single or, like I said, going with friends or whatever, or your honey, whatever the case is, Chicago is a really cool place. You can get some good deals on hotels. You don't have to stay. The I think it's the Miracle Mile, the Magnificent Mile. You don't have to stay in that area right there. There are other places you can stay. I think I did stay in that area, but you don't have to stay there. You can figure out ways to spend less money and still have a good time in Chicago. So I wanted to mention Chicago as a place that, if you hadn't considered someplace domestic to go, that's a place. And another place that I think is like really cool to go and hang out if you like things to do, things to see, and like a good restaurant scene or whatever. I'm gonna highly suggest Washington D.C. Now, let me. You know what? Maybe I need to make this a little bit Philly, D.C. Um, and there was one other place I was trying to think of. Philly, D.C. I mean, the whole DMV area got like a lot of good things going on, but Philly and DC. So I'm mentioning three places: Chicago, Philly, and DC. I feel like all of those places have something to offer in terms of like historical sites, touristic places, a banging food scene, places if you want to like relax and kick back. I know in that DMV area, they even have some wineries. Um, so there's a lot, it's a lot that you can do locally, so I know I'm mentioning stuff on the East Coast. I'm not that, I was born on the West Coast, but I'm not that familiar with everything on the West Coast. And as far as West Coast, I've only really been to like LA, Sacramento, yeah, not that many places, so I can't really make that really make a recommendation. Now if you got some recommendations you can make there, then okay, cool beans, just drop them in the comments. We can talk. I mean, I've been a few places, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I've been a few places in the uh in California, range, but I'm just not that, well versed. And I have been to Seattle a couple of times and thoroughly enjoyed myself. So, and I know their food scene is banging and they have a lot to offer. So I don't want to make it seem like, I'm prejudiced or I'm biased, East Coast biased. Maybe I am a little bit, but I like to talk about what I know. Okay, and so that's the reason why I'm not really mentioning. If I haven't been there, then I'm not gonna be like, yeah, yeah, go there. No, I'm not gonna say that. But there are lots and lots of great places. I mean, I'm from New York, and that's kind of what I have known. But I feel like, to be perfectly honest, I'm way more comfortable and way more in touch with a lot of places, outside of the country, because a lot of my travel has been international, right? So it's like, it's no brag, just fact. I've been to more than 50 countries, and um, a lot of the places that people have on their bucket list, like, oh, I want to go to Paris, I want to go to London, I want to go to Rome. I've done those things. I want to go to Morocco, I've been there. Um been several places in Spain, and I've talked about this before. Like, I've been a lot of places, so it's not so much that I really like to try to just encourage the travel part. Like, you can go wherever you want to go, do whatever you want to do, but I feel like sometimes people feel more comfortable when they know you've been there. So that's why I don't like to talk about places I haven't been. I like, for example, I really would like to go to South Korea. I've never been, so I can't talk about South Korea yet. When it happens, I'm gonna be like, check this out. You need to go to this district, you need to do that thing, and blah blah blah. I just don't have that kind of information. I have friends who've been those places. So if indeed there's a place that you are interested in, um, drop it in the comments. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I will be on my job getting to my friends who've been to these other places, because I have friends who have been lots of places. I in a recent conversation, this is like, I'm digressing because that's what I do. That's what I do, and I do it well. But I was in a recent conversation, and I was talking about a maybe a trip in 2026 that we would go to uh, Asia. And so I was talking to my sister, and she said, oh, I really want to go to Japan. I said, oh, I've got friends there, and I've been, right, but I've only been one time. If you're not new to the channel, you know how I love Japan, and I've said this clearly, that I've only been once, but I will definitely be back again, and hopefully again and again, because I was totally smitten with Japan. But I was telling her that I also wanted to go to Malaysia again, because I really didn't get a good chance to enjoy it like I wanted to. So I definitely want to go to Malaysia so I can do some traveling in Malaysia specifically. Um, and she mentioned that she wanted to go to Singapore. I was like, I've got a friend there, and I've been, but yeah, we could definitely hit that place up. And she wanted to go to Bali, And I was like, yep, I'm definitely down. Haven't been there yet. So these are things that I'm really interested in. I'm so interested in extending my travel knowledge, my travel experience. Like I want to be able to say, yes, I've been there and this and was able to do this and I had this experience and this is my thing. Like this is my passion. This is what I live for. I'm a foodie, so I like to try different things. Although I am allergic to strawberries and coconut, I really need to put this out there for the universe so that the universe doesn't forget and doesn't let me try another chicken satay with some peanut sauce that happened to have coconut in it. That was not a cute situation. I was like, is there coconut in this sauce? Oh my gosh! I was like, what in the world? Yeah. So I on a recommendation. Well, a work colleague had said, "Oh, come hang out. I'm gonna take you and another coworker out for dinner or whatever." And we were like, "Okay, yeah, let's go, whatever." And he was saying, "Oh, this is like one of my favorite things." So he was like, "Yeah, it's like chicken satay and peanut sauce." I was like, "Okay." Like I love peanuts. Like who knew? Who knew there was coconut in that doggone peanut sauce? Ay ay ay. And yeah, Robin don't rock with no EpiPen, but usually Benadryl will do it. So fortunately, there was a pharmacy close by, and I was able to get an antihistamine, and which assisted. But I didn't swallow it. I didn't swallow it, and I think that was one of the things that was really helpful. It was just in my mouth, so I just had like the itchy mouth situation. But anyway, see how I digressed? I was talking. I started off talking about a few places domestically that we can visit in the U.S. Right? I started off talking about that. Okay, then I digressed into the East Coast West Coast thing, lack of knowledge, and then somehow I managed to get over to me being allergic to coconut and strawberries. I don't know. Bear with me, okay? Bear with me. I crack my own self up. I think I've said this before. I crack my own self up because this is how my mind works. There's always more than one thing going on for me, right? In my head. And in the past, I've been able to like literally have conversation while thinking about something else, like and figuring something else out in my head and still have conversation, that was made sense. But unfortunately, at this place where I am with my fibrofog, thank you, fibromyalgia, it could be old age too, so who knows? Maybe I'm not that old. But um, now, like the stuff that comes out is so like a bit in a piece, a bit in a piece. It's just like all over the place. So I just try to give you a warning and say I digress because that's what I do all the time. It's not intentional, but it's like I have these thoughts all over, and yeah. So, um, yeah, I'm thinking just, I'm thinking for my upcoming trip, my upcoming cruise that I might try to do a live when I get on the ship because I've been on the ship twice already. So this will be my third time. This is a different itinerary. So yeah, I think I might do a little live from the ship kind of thing and then bring some updates because waiting for me to upload some stuff that already happened, you know yeah. I The plan, but let me say this, the plan is for me to give you some of the stuff that I had from the last times. Okay, that is the plan. That is the plan. But to make it better than I've been doing, I was thinking of, I don't want me to say this. I was thinking of maybe doing a live when I get on the ship while I still have some what you call it Wi-Fi, availability on land, and then as I get to different destinations, to be able to give you some lives that way, right? And then I can still be compiling other footage, during the cruise. So, but just to kind of let you keep up with me where I am. So that'll be coming up, in the not too distant future. Um, and I've been truly, truly looking forward to it because this is the one thing about me having the chronic illness. Well, and I think also with just my personality, I like to have things to look forward to. And it keeps me grounded, and it keeps me from feeling really stuck, because that is something that I know I've used that word quite a bit in the past. Um, so yeah, it keeps me from feeling so stuck, and I appreciate having something to look forward to. It makes a huge difference for me. It's a way to turn my frown upside down. Mhm. Yeah. But anywho's and anyhows, I'm so glad that you have come and spent some time with me. As I've told you in the past, it means the world to me that I get to share my world with you. And I am so grateful for that. I'm so very grateful. You never can imagine how grateful I am, and how much of a difference it makes for me to be able to just talk about some of the things I've done, some of the places I've been, some of the people I've met. So I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, but to not forget the business of this here YouTube, I want to say please like, share, comment, and subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Okay? Please. And thank you. I mean, Mr. Algo, last name Rhythm, does not just shine a favorable light on Wonderfully Me. It just doesn't. I don't know why. Can you imagine? Can you? I know I can't. I have no idea why Algo would not be pushing me out there like that. Like, come on. The world needs more of this. Not at this show. I don't know. Can I show you my? It's upside down. Oh, it is upside down. Okay. Naretisho is Naretisho is my sign given name. I had a ceremony where I was welcomed into the tribe, and I was given that name. And it means like a person who is a great help, a person who does a lot for others, kind of. And I was told by someone who I met that it's like a highly revered name, and she was actually a vendor, and I'm just telling you, I was in on the bus between Arusha, Tanzania, and Nairobi, Kenya. And when you get to the border, a lot of times there are a lot of Maasai women who are out there selling different things. So anyway, when she saw my bracelet, and she was like, like that it meant something to her, and she like gave me a gift. And because she was telling me that my name is so like revered. It's like a high status. If they give you that name, it's like really means something, really. So I've always cherished it. And anywho, again, here I went off track. All right, I'm just gonna say thank you, thank you. I'm gonna stop right here. I'm gonna stop because I will be in a whole other continent in a minute. Let me just stop. I'm going to talk more about the whole Southeast Asia trip planning thing in an upcoming video. But in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself and do good and be better. Do good in a way that benefits yourself and others. And be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday. And be an even better version tomorrow. That's the goal, right? We all want to be on that progress, that progress, that progress. Yeah. Okay. So any who's and any hows, I thank you and ciao for now.